let's start with this one. It's actually a channel I know. I've watched this guy like years ago. I've watched a few of his videos, is what I mean. wavywebsurf. It was probably some like video like this, you know, documenting something or others, I can't remember. But yeah, I've watched some of his videos years ago. I can't remember specifically though. It might have been like 4chan something, you know. So yeah, this is the fast food crimes exposed by the internet. Let's watch it.
Today's episode is all about the most disgusting, violent, and downright scandalous controversies to unfold in the realm of fast food. From Jack's employees contaminating food with menstrual blood, to McDonald's managers selling drugs using the drive-thru window, to a Burger King refusing to...
Is it weird that I'd rather have like normal blood than menstrual blood? I think it's not that weird. Just give me normal blood, please.
Serve the disabled. Welcome to yet another installment of the internet's most infamous fast food disasters.
Oh, c'est not even the first episode. Classic fast food situation.
If you're watching this video, it's more likely than not that you've received bad customer service at fast food before. While it can be extremely frustrating, most of you out there have the social awareness not to make a big scene out of it and, you know, work towards a...
Wait, give me a second. For some reason, there's like Korean subtitles. English, here we go. I was gonna say, I mean, I can't think of like a bad experience at a fast food myself. Like, I've really barely ever gone to fast food. Like, the only fast food I've ever gone to in my life is McDonald's. Literally, that's it, I think. And I've maybe gone like 20 to 30 times in my life. And outside of, you know, like a lot of people, so you have to wait a while. I haven't had like any terrible experience or like never anything forgotten or anything. I guess I got lucky. Yeah.
Sensible compromise with the employees who fucked you over. Well, this wouldn't be the case with the woman who became frustrated at a Chipotle in Parma, Ohio late last year. This is the story of the Chipotle Chucker. In September of 2023, a customer by the name of Rosemary Hain became furious after receiving her order, apparently being unsatisfied with the quality of her Chipotle. Despite attempts to calm her down, Hain completely lost it and violently threw a bowl of hot food directly into the employee's chest and face.
I mean, the worst kind of people, right? Like, it's someone with a lot of problem in their personal life, and they literally like find nothing better to do than take it out on like, you know, like fast food worker. It's such a meme of like, you know, people taking out their issues on fast food workers specifically, or like store clerk, or, you know, cashier and stuff like that, you know, like the most kind of like brutal low-paying job that's already like kind of like draining your sanity, and then you have to deal with people like this who feel like, you know, people like working those jobs are like beneath them, and so they're perfect target for their frustration. It's insane. I can't imagine that. Like, I've been, you know, annoyed before with a cashier or something for something or others, you know, but like, you know, you still don't like go hardcore like that on them. It's just
the whole incident was recorded by a bystander, with another customer immediately confronting Hain and threatening to call the cops over the matter.
You should like show some food at her, and then it's a awkward fight. Everybody put like the phone, classic. No, I've never been in public ever where there's some kind of incident that's worth recording.
It shouldn't be surprising that this footage was immediately uploaded to social media, with many being outraged by the woman's absurd behavior.
And then she posts like some, you know, YouTube apology. I'm sorry, I was in a bad mental space. I'm going to get therapy. I'm so sorry, please forgive me.
The victim in question was 17-year-old Emily Russell, with Rosemary being quickly arrested and charged with assault. According to Fox 8 News, when questioned about why she committed such a bizarre act, she stated, "If I showed you how my food looked and how my food looked a week later from that same restaurant, it's disgusting." Despite this, she did offer a full apology and made it clear she regretted her actions. The judge, however,
only regretting it because there was such backlash, right? Like, yeah,
was completely unsympathetic to her pleas. She was sentenced to 180 days in jail, with 90 of them being suspended. According to official sources, Judge Timothy Gilligan, who was presiding over the case, wasn't quite done yet, though. While a jail sentence was bad enough, he felt that
make her work in a fast food. I've heard of cases like this before, yeah. Make her work in a fast food. let her deal with people being shitty.
That this was an opportunity to teach the woman what it was like to be on the receiving end of customer abuse.
Perfect.
So he offered her a deal. If she worked in a fast food restaurant for a minimum of 20 hours for an 8-week period, he would significantly reduce her jail sentence.
Okay, only 20 hours though. It's not that much.
And this was an offer that she readily took. Yeah, part of her punishment from the judge was having her actually work at a restaurant. While this had clearly been an unpleasant experience for the young worker, she didn't seem to let it impact her all too much. In an interview with USA Today, she stated, "I was telling the judge she left the building and went to her car, and she came back, and that's what she did to my face. We live in a world right now where she could have done anything she wanted. She could have punched me in my face or pulled a gun out. I'm lucky that I only got a bowl thrown in my face." It was
yeah. So she's literally saying like, I mean, that's kind of sad. She's saying like, I'm just glad I wasn't shot, stabbed, or thrown acid in my face or something. I'm glad it was just hot food. It's kind of fucked up. Like, it's kind of fucked up to say that, but hey.
Also revealed that she believed the punishment was befitting of the crime, saying she was satisfied with the outcome. In addition to all of this, a GoFundMe was started.
Hello, Ivan. Don't care about fast food, but it's not as a good idea to work there if you easily lose temper. Yeah, it wasn't even someone working there; it was the customer doing that. Yeah. But that's what I guess you're right. Yeah, as the employee, it's the same thing. Yeah, like you have to like be calm in face of customer like this, right? Like someone throws food in my face like that, like I'm gonna be very angry and want to beat their ass. And so, yeah, that's not good. That's not good. I mean, I guess fast food employee are either dead inside or they have big Zen. They are master Zen, Zen master basically.
The girl, with it racking up over $10,000 in total donations. Obviously, what Hain had done was inexcusable and shouldn't have happened. But the donations and public outcry certainly served as a nice silver lining to the unfortunate event. However, this wouldn't be the end of the story. An article was recently released by the news outlet Grub Street, where they examined her life after the incident and whether or not she had actually received a proper punishment. According to the article, she ended up being employed at a Burger King restaurant to comply with the judge's request. But this is about as far as her goodwill went. She's had some questionable comments when reflecting on the incident. Having the nerve to imply the clip of her throwing the food in the employee's face had been, quote, taken out of context, stating, "If you saw the full video, you'll see me waiting for 35 minutes. You'll see me say something to Emily that's not rude or anything. You'll see her talk rude to me. I wish I could post that." It's also
I mean, this isn't fully untrue, right? Like so much of like the big headline clip these days on the internet are like that. Like it's only a part of it, and you know, usually it doesn't fully like change the context. But if you see the full clip, often it changes a little bit of the context, right? Like sometimes it's, you know, it shows someone being attacked, and you're like, whoa, this person is a piece of shit. But often these days, it's like if you see the full clip, like the other person started first or something. But in this case, come on. Like, whether you waited a long time or something, like, come on. No justification.
Important to clarify here that the reason she says that she was upset was that she thought that the food just looked disgusting. The order was actually totally correct, but, you know, she justifies her outrage by saying that it just looked like shit. Which I've had some fucked up bowls from Chipotle before, but come on, bitch, this is like out of line. This combined...
Right, it's not even like the fucking cashier that cooked it, I mean... Come on.
With the extremely long wait time and the allegedly rude service apparently led this woman to the infamous outburst. Overall, the situation serves as a reminder that fast food workers are human beings as well. And no matter how frustrating terrible service can be, it's never worth going completely psycho over some food.
Right. And I mean, you know, again, like, literally, it was shown from some of her comments later on, like, literally learned nothing, right? Like, she's going to feel like she was a victim all along. Like, the rest of her life, she's going to be telling her friend the story of how she was victimized by the internet and how she wasn't in the wrong. You know, it's that kind of person, right? Oh boy. I don't know if I want to hear this one. Jack's secret sauce.
A common trope in movies and TV shows is the idea of a disgruntled fast food worker tampering with the customer's order, usually by spitting on the food and serving it while the recipient will mindlessly go about eating it without a second thought. While it's disturbing to imagine, it's actually extremely rare that this happens. Most of the stories that you've seen online over the years regarding fast food contamination, it's all hoaxes, myths, and urban legends. That being said, some incidents have occurred, and one of the most graphic and disturbing occurred at a restaurant in Columbus, Mississippi.
At the same time, I'm sure if right now, like I type in YouTube, like, you know, like fast food employee messing with the food, I'm gonna find like 10,000 video, like security camera, people filming in secret or stuff like that happening. There's no doubt. I mean, whenever you go to any kind of like restaurant or fast food place, it's literally like the gacha luck of, you know, hopefully the fast food worker is doing things right. Hopefully they're not disgusting. Hopefully they're, you know, yeah, it's just an hopefully, right? Like, it's definitely one of those things where, like, you know, whenever you go to a restaurant, fast food place, it's just, you have to think that, yeah, like, you have to really trust someone you don't know to not mess with your food, which is a lot of trust.
This is the story of Jack's secret sauce. On January 7th of 2017, 18-year-old Sky Juliet Samuel was working at a Jack's restaurant when she became frustrated with a customer in the drive-thru. The exact wording of their exchange is unknown, but the important thing is that it was enough to greatly upset both parties. Sky in particular got so upset that she decided to add something a bit extra.
I'm feeling like puking, and I haven't even heard the story yet.
To the customer's order when making it. According to later reports, she licked the cheese for the burger and then proceeded to wipe menstrual blood onto the sandwich, allegedly disguising this stuff with the condiment. Sky's co-worker witnessed all of this, and when she went home, immediately told her mother about the incident.
Yeah. So she was doing it in front of people. Like, she thought everybody would be like so in on it and so dumb.
Who then proceeded to make a post on Facebook, warning any patrons that had ordered food from the restaurant in a specific window of time that their order may have been tampered with in a serious way. The victim had reported Sky, intending to get her in trouble for her poor customer service, but after seeing the post, put two and two together and reported the incident to the authorities.
I was gonna say, I couldn't, like, that's kind of, I don't know if you could sue someone for that, but I hope you can. Or like, just, yeah, like, that's fucked up.
According to an article by KFOR News, the mother of the co-worker who had initially reported the tampering was fired a few days later, implying that Jax had attempted to cover up the whole thing. However, this rumor was dispelled once it was revealed the employee in question was actually terminated for stealing food. Once the news became public knowledge, a wave of disgust swept through the internet, as many were horrified picturing the event in their minds.
I mean, I'm literally like, genuinely, like, it's been a while since I've watched any videos like this where I feel like puking. I mean, just the idea of it, I don't know, again, like, just like regular blood is fine, just fucking whatever, like, that feel less disgusting. I don't know.
Without saying that Sky would be fired immediately from her position, but the story doesn't end there. This wasn't a simple prank gone wrong. It was a serious health code violation that could potentially land her in prison for up to 5 years. She eventually did turn herself into police after a warrant was issued, willingly allowing herself to be arrested. However, she was soon released on a $5,000 bond. Interestingly, according to the Daily Mail, the girl had previously worked at a Krispy Kreme nearby, but was terminated for reasons that weren't exactly clear.
Don't tell me she did the fucking same thing.
She didn't add some of her own custom frosting to a strawberry donut.
Fuck off.
A spokesperson for Jax released a lengthy statement expressing their concern regarding the ordeal, making absolute certain to emphasize that this was a unique incident that had never happened before in their establishment, making it clear that they were fully cooperating with the proper authorities.
Jax sent out this statement saying, in part, "Food safety is our top priority at Jax Family Restaurants. The company takes any claims of improper food handling very seriously." Recently, an audio tape recording was posted on social media claiming that an employee at the restaurant in Columbus potentially violated our stringent food handling standards.
There was an audio recording?
The employee allegedly involved in this incident was terminated several days ago for unrelated reasons and no longer works for the company. The restaurant received an A rating. At this point, Jack's internal investigation is ongoing, and the company will do everything it can to assist authorities with their own investigation.
The story gained so much traction that Sky was covered by the Breakfast Club and was deemed Donkey of the Day by Charlemagne the God.
I don't know what that is. do you eat fast food? I was talking about it earlier, like, you know, in my 26 years, I've only ever had McDonald's. I know there's Burger King and KFC in France too, but where I've lived, it's only ever been McDonald's. I've never had anything else in terms of fast food. Yeah.
Let me get a bite of that period patty.
Yeah.
I'll have a menstrual cycle with cheese, please. Hold the pickles. Sky,
Yeah.
I don't know where you're eligible to work after this. Okay, you need to go to college and get you an education because this is by far one of the worst things that ever have to
McDonald's
write
too?
on a job application.
Yeah.
Have you ever been convicted?
Like I've drove by KFC or Burger King before, but yeah, I've only ever had McDonald's 20 to 30 times, I think, in my life.
Or arrested of a crime? If so, what?
I like it.
Yes, I got arrested for putting period blood on people's burgers.
Right, right.
Ah! Please give Sky Samuels
Nothing
the
wrong with
biggest
that, by
hee-haw.
the way.
That's disgusting.
Sky was eventually sentenced to 1 year in
Crazy fast
prison
food
in late
workers.
2017.
I mean, I wouldn't say only in US, right? Like, in most country, all it takes is like, you know, a joke a moment, one bad day as an employee to just start putting bad stuff into the customer's food, you know? I'm sure in most countries there's stories like this, yeah.
Which is pretty nuts because in a lot of these fast food cases, most of the people just end up getting fired. Very rarely do they break the law and get time served, but that's the case with this woman. It's disappointing that
Yeah.
someone would throw away their reputation over something so petty, with this story serving as a grim reminder to be alert when receiving fast food from strangers at restaurants. So basically, you need to be paranoid every time you get a McChicken or some sort of fucking sandwich, because who knows?
Yeah, but as I said, like, in truth, that makes a lot of sense. Like fast food or normal restaurants, like, you are putting full faith in a stranger that they're not going to mess with your food, right? So that's the first reason, like, we should be nice to them, because if you're not nice to them and they give you food, like, you should be double sus of what's in there. But even then, yeah.
What sort of bodily fluids might have been squirted on that bitch?
Shut up.
The restaurant itself seems to be going strong, meaning that despite the controversy, they were still able to maintain a loyal base of customers. So if you guys couldn't tell, diving into these fast food stories is some of the most fun that I have here on the channel. And I'd like to thank today's sponsor, Ground
Having
News,
fun talking
for
about pure blood
helping
and
me get the
burgers.
facts straight before taking the plunge. Ground is a nonpartisan news app and website that aggregates news reports about current events and puts them all in one place, in the hopes of exposing media bias and making it easier for you to see all sides of a story. You'll see a news outlet's political bias, how historically credible their reporting is, and even who funds the media organization.
that's
For
interesting.
example, we all
Don't
know
watch
that
this before
Mr.
eating.
Beast has been in some
Yeah.
hot water
Yeah.
recently. He was actually sued by the company behind his ghost kitchen burger restaurant chain, Beast Burger, and was accused of using child labor to produce his Feastable chocolate bars. And aside from the
Fair enough.
food controversies, he's been in the center of, you know, the whole Ava Chris Tyson shit, and there's people digging up old clips of him allegedly using slurs. It's a lot to go through and tough
What a
to read
surprise.
through fact and fiction. Ground
No
can help
one,
you out here.
even the
Ground
big
News found
popular
65
celebrity are
sources
perfect. What a
covering
surprise.
Mr. Beast, and only half of them are considered
Fair enough,
credible
Nabik.
sources. This
There's some
credibility
variety.
rating is
Normal
based on how
food.
subjective or objective their reporting tends to be.
I mean, frankly, like, as I said, like, I've had a lot of McDonald's before, but, you know, one thing I think I've mentioned many times before, like, all of the time I've ever had McDonald's, I've only gotten the same thing. It's like supposed to be a kid meal. It's called like a croque McDo in French, which is just like a slice of bread, cheese, pork, cheese, bread, and so yeah, like I always just get like 4 or 5 of that always. I think the best thing actually at McDonald's was like the ice cream. Like that was the tastiest thing. Yeah, I've never really had normal burger, but yeah, always like the ice cream were pretty good. I like that, or like the ice thing, yeah, whatever you want to call it. Mr. Beast drama in a sponsor.
Using historical data. They call it the factuality breakdown. Ground also helps expose how hyperbolic headlines can be,
Yeah.
with some being comically subjective and editorialized.
Of course.
Like, I mean, just look at some of these. Here you got Gizmodo reporting Mr. Beast, quote, hired Elon Musk's favorite
pork for you.
attorney to fight sociopathic claims made against him, while a Business Insider article calls the attorney, quote, an aggressive super lawyer. Personally, if you're somebody who likes keeping up with current events and
I mean, Clickbait, right? Clickbait. What can you do?
News headlines and even social media drama, Ground is useful. I personally enjoy browsing it. So if you're trying to surf through the BS that's online, let's give Ground a shot. Check out Ground News at ground.news/wavy or scan my QR code.
I scanned
They're
10 times already.
independent and
No
subscriber
problem.
funded, and my viewers get 40% off the same Vantage plan that I use for unlimited access to all of their features.
Terrence Brown says he couldn't figure out why people behind the counter were laughing before he got his order. When he saw the words "Lil Ugly Dude" printed at the bottom, he ran out of the restaurant.
Much like rude customers, rude service.
I mean, this is dumb, but this doesn't seem as bad as the last one, at least. Chum just almost got killed. That's right. Yeah. I saw that.
Workers are a dime a dozen in
I guess
today's
it
busy
barely
world.
feels like a big deal, right?
Rarely will they directly insult
Just
you to
another
your
day in the
face.
US news.
Usually workers will have enough common sense not to berate customers or call them names at the risk of losing their job. But occasionally things do slip through the cracks and employees just can't seem to help themselves. In 2016, a 15-year-old teenager named Quintarius made an order
That's
at a
a cool name,
Wendy's located in Mobile, Alabama. At first, everything seemed normal until he noticed the workers laughing at him as he received his order. Confused, he looked at the receipt and found out that somebody had inputted his name as Lil Ugly Dude.
I was gonna say that's lucky you would even see that. Like, I think a lot of people look at the receipt, but literally just like the number part, you know? You don't really look at the rest of the text.
While the insult may seem tame, it had a significant impact on the young man. According to his mother, Tanisha, Quintarius had suffered from mental health issues his entire life, and the incident was a massive blow to his self-esteem. When she found out about
That's the classic problem, right? Like, it might seem like just a dumb, shitty joke, but depending on the person, it might not be such a small joke.
the incident, she was furious, posting about the issue to Facebook in an attempt to garner support, stating the following. My child was so embarrassed and upset, he said the whole store was laughing at him, including the manager. I play about a lot of things, but my kids isn't one. My ghetto side was telling me to go back up there and let him have it, but I'd rather do it the right way. She would further express her frustration in an interview with the
Don't make
local
fun of
news
anyone.
outlet WKRG, characterizing the incident as blatant bullying.
We get the receipt and I looked at it and say, "Look, ugly
The next
dude."
joke,
I'm like, really?
all it takes is one bad day.
It hurt my feelings. It made me cry. I was in
I would say, like, you know, I'm taking it like a bit further, but we see, especially in the US, where, like, you know, everybody might have a gun. Like, I feel like I would always be scared of, like, upsetting anyone if I go to the US, right? Like, they might just pull out a gun, right?
Yeah.
I know, very French, you know,
Because it's
view of the
considered
US, but
bullying.
you know what I
You
mean.
don't go around making fun of people because you don't know their situations. That's bullying.
Quintarius was obviously extremely upset by what had happened, as anyone else would be, honestly. I mean,
It's not
he
even
got
ugly, I mean.
violated by these dudes. The story would gain traction across the internet and started getting covered by numerous media outlets.
Course.
Given how much negative publicity the incident had caused, Wendy's was quick to step in and offer an apology. Ed Sheffield, a spokesperson for the company, issued a statement claiming the employees in question had been fired,
Of course.
issuing an apology to the family as well as the victim himself. It's unclear exactly why the employee felt that they needed to do this. The insult really doesn't make sense, as, I mean, Quintarius is like a relatively normal looking guy.
Right.
And like, why would you know, make a paper trail for...
I mean, I'm guessing they were just bored, you know, it's like just a bunch of, you know, bored fast food worker trying to make a joke. That's about it. Not a good one,
if the
but
guy did find it, like, it's
trying to
really
entertain
easy
himself,
to
I
just
guess.
be like, bro, like, what the fuck? Like, it's on the receipt. He could just bring it back and be like, this has the time, the date, probably even the cashier's name on it, and then you guys are fucking with me in a way that I can easily backtrace. These guys just must have been really bored, I guess.
There you go. That's what I
Regardless,
thought, yeah.
the incident certainly soured the young man's perception regarding the fast food establishment. But hopefully he took
Just
some
go somewhere
solace in the
else.
fact that those responsible had been held accountable. The Wendy's in question is still in operation today with a surprising Google rating of 3.4. But that was the story of Lil Ugly Dude, not to be mistaken with Lil Ugly Mane.
I'm out
I don't know.
on the floor with these buns.
I don't know, Ugly
It's
Man.
no secret that
I don't
over
have
the
the
past
context.
few decades, fast food restaurants haven't exactly kept up stellar reputations for themselves. They're often characterized as being extremely cheap and having poor customer service, but the silver lining to this is the knowledge that you're getting the same thing every time, not having to worry about sanitary issues since the restaurants are all
Praising
held to
yokai.
the same strict sanitation standards across the country. Unfortunately, employees can sometimes abuse this sense of security and get away with some pretty wild stuff, which is exactly what happened in an unassuming Checkers restaurant located in Philadelphia. In October of 2016, an employee named Richard Benson and his co-workers
By the
decided...
way, I was gonna say, like, you know, I never really thought about it, but what counts as fast food? Like, is it just the big chain like KFC, Wendy's, McDonald's? For example, I went to like kebab before, like, you know, technically it is fast food, right? Like, I went there, like, in 10 minutes I had my kebab, right? But is it called fast food because it was still like a one guy run small shop, right? But does that count as fast food?
to start live streaming to Facebook.
So otherwise, I've had
presumably
more
out of
fast food
sheer
than just
boredom.
McDonald's then.
Now, while goofing around on the job like this isn't uncommon, it was the thing said during the stream that got people's attention. Upon watching re-uploads of the stream, you can see and hear Benson making numerous disturbing claims, including that he's actually taking bites or eating burgers that are supposed to be served to customers.
It's not my burger, it's doing some thick.
At one point, he even goes as
There's no
far
way he
as
actually
saying
serves that though. Like, there's a big ass bite taken out of it. There's no way he's actually trying to give that to anyone. Hello, Pam.
that if his ops came to the restaurant, he would take the buns of the burgers that they ordered and wipe them on the floor before serving.
When I ops come through, this is what
What's
we
an
gotta
ops?
do to 'em. I'm about to drop this on the, I'm about to wash the floor with these buns.
Bro was ready to catch his ops lacking.
In a country, fast food are considered Western food that are prepared fast, like McDonald's.
They continued to dig their hole even deeper as the stream went on, with Benson saying that he didn't see the point of using gloves while making food. You know, just like a complete disregard for standard health practices.
Your enemy.
What do you say? What's the point of wearing gloves is what? So your hands don't get dirty. She's talking about yellow.
Gloves, man.
You're slicking. Look at him.
I make this bare hands, man. I scratch my head and make a burger.
The card, bro.
According to the Checkers website, in basic common sense, regularly changing your gloves and washing your hands while making food is absolutely mandatory, with the employees displaying a flippant attitude the entire time. Towards the end, you can also clearly see the man smoking what looks to be a blunt.
Of
Though
course.
official sources claim that it was simply a cigar
little burger
or a
with
cigarette.
a
After
little
the
bit of
live
wind,
stream, the group
weed
of
taste.
co-workers decided it would probably be
It adds
best
some
if they
flavor.
deleted it, apparently just assuming that nobody would care enough to report the incident.
You're fucking streaming it. Like, how do you think that no one's gonna give a shit? I don't know. I don't understand the mentality. It's kind of like recently I saw some news in the US. There was something like there was some kind of loophole to get a ton of money out of a bank system or something, and there's a bunch of like TikTokers that were doing it and literally posting like videos of them doing it and tutorials and all that, only to then like start crying and be shocked that they're starting to be sued and they're facing like years in prison. Like, I know, you know, we're like full on in the era of social media brand rots, and that some people, you know, like ton of people at this point have like literally grown up with it. But to this extent that you can't even think for 2 seconds, like filming what's obviously like a crime or something that's gonna get you in trouble isn't a good idea. Like, how do people not think like, you know, don't film yourself doing something bad? I don't know. The one where they go in debt, yeah, I think that's what it is. And also they're like facing some kind of like fraud or something, wire fraud charges, I think.
Unfortunately for this group, it turns out, you know, most people become pretty alarmed when restaurant employees are bragging about messing with food that they're giving to the public. And this is being streamed online as well. The message got spread across the internet and people were kind of worried about these people. Many in the online community that saw this video were shocked and appalled given the fact that some individuals watching this stream had actually eaten at the Checkers that was being showcased in this disgusting live stream, with Checkers corporate quickly scrambling to try and salvage their damaged image. Benson was, of course, immediately fired along with several of his co-workers, with the company claiming that they would also be retraining their staff in an effort to rehabilitate the restaurant. It also wouldn't be long before Richard himself...
And obviously, I know, like, you know, with fast food, like, there's a big thing about, you know, it's so underpaid. So, like, you know, people don't even feel like doing a good job, right? Not that it justifies any of this, but yeah, like, every time, you know, the company act like, you know, we're gonna retrain, we're gonna do better, like, maybe start paying people better, right? Like, it might encourage them to actually do a good job. I don't know.
Would speak out in his defense. According to an interview conducted by NBC 10, Benson claims he was joking the entire time and would never actually do any of the things that he described.
Haha.
And now on top of that,
funny.
I rap a lot, like I love. So it's more like to get people to, oh, now we know who he is. Then when I promote a CD or something, it's like, oh, that's the boy from Checkers that, oh, his song hot, you know. It's basically a publicity stunt. It went wrong. Like, I didn't even post it. The crazy thing is,
you're live streaming it.
Going live. When you done going live, they ask you, do you want to post it or delete it? I deleted it.
He was a self-described rapper and comedian and called the whole thing a publicity stunt, though suffice to say his jokes weren't landing. In complete fairness, there was no conclusive proof that they actually messed with any of the food that had been served to customers. That being said, according to an article from Inquirer, the restaurant had already been due for a reinspection after the unsatisfactory review from the Philadelphia Department of Health that had been given just a month prior. The restaurant had apparently closed its doors without being prompted by the authorities and issued a statement condemning the incident, though this did little to quell the backlash. Benson expressed regret at himself and the others fired, but made it a point to emphasize that they had never done anything to mess with the integrity of the food they had served to customers. Though
at least they're lucky that there's no like proof outside of them saying it that they did it. So like he can keep claiming, yeah, we never actually did it, it was just jokes. At least he has that to get away with it. Yeah.
Definitely did smoke inside of the kitchen. Reports regarding the incident eventually stopped, and the Checkers in question is currently closed down, seemingly for good. While it's hard to tell if the incident is the exact reason for the closure, it's hard to imagine that it didn't at least play somewhat of a role. Interestingly, a similar Checkers incident had occurred just a year prior in 2015, where employees did actually wipe buns on the floor, and this was a national news story covered by numerous mainstream media organizations.
There's just one word for this.
Oh my
disgusting. An employee at the fast food chain
I'd still rather eat that than the Fire Blood one.
Hamburger bun on the floor, wipes it around, then prepares it like
Burger King food letters. Number 15. Burger King food letters. I can't do the voice.
Oh my God, yo.
At the end of the day, the workers in question were more than likely just bored and didn't really like do any
And once again, like literally recording it, I mean, like brain rot to the max.
Nations, but you know, going live with this kind of stuff, you got to remember, man, once you post something online, it's there forever. Good luck getting a job in the food industry after this stunt.
That's the thing. No. Okay. Lock your windows. The pressurized Burger King incident.
Pulling pranks on fast food workers is an age-old tradition with some of the earliest...
Okay, the best fast food restaurant videos are the fights, like the massive fights, when just like that one where like it's the cashier that gets mad and it's like a bunch of girls like heckling her, and she comes out and she's this massive, like, you know, super like overweight lady, but like unit type, and she just like rush them like a rhinoceros and just start blasting two of them at the same time. Like, fast food restaurant fights are pretty funny. They're pretty good. I used to watch those when I was younger.
Viral successes on YouTube being these types of videos, a la like fire in the hole videos. However, while most of these pranks are certainly annoying, it's very rare that any of them cross into criminal territory. This unfortunately wasn't the case in 2016, when one prankster took things way too far.
The era of dumb pranks, I mean, there's still stupid pranks being done all the time, but was it like 2015 to 2018? Like so many terrible pranks that put people in prison.
As the story goes, it was a typical night at a Burger King located in Coon Rapids, Minnesota, when the manager of the restaurant had received a distressing phone call. The caller posed as a firefighter and advised the manager of a potentially dangerous situation, claiming that there were harmful fumes that could result in the restaurant literally exploding. According to local news reports, after this call, he panicked and instructed the employees to bust out the windows of the establishment in order to prevent a catastrophe, with the entire ordeal being caught on camera.
I see. I thought it was like some drunk guy breaking the windows or something. Okay, in this one, I would say, like, you know, like, respect to the manager, right? Like, he wasn't even thinking, is this real or not? He was like, let's literally, like, break the windows and make sure things don't explode. I hope he's not fired for this. Yo, it is kind of funny though, but it's kind of fucked up too. Good intention, but he should have visited then. Yeah, but like in that situation, like if I'm working someplace and I get a call of a supposed firefighter that the place is gonna explode, I mean, I guess I wouldn't be like trying to save the place. I would just say everybody like run outside. Let's wait for the firefighters or something. I guess telling them to like break the windows is kind of like dangerous. Not very bright. I don't know. It's better than the type of boss that would be like not believing it, you know, like not give a shit, right?
Saying that all of this was completely false. Not only had the fire department never contacted the Burger King, but there was no toxic gas to be found there at all.
Smelled it.
Ethan Grew, who had been working at the time of the incident, told CBS News that, quote, his other coworkers were doing it, so he just followed along, unquote. While on the surface, it seems ridiculous, in the moment it appeared to be very real to those involved.
Sure.
Apparently, the caller had done extensive research in an effort to come across as legitimate as possible, fooling the manager and making a mockery out of the local authorities. However, this was far from an isolated incident. In a bizarre twist, the exact same thing had occurred in April of the same year at another Burger King located in Oklahoma. Similar to the previous story, a prankster called the restaurant and convinced the employees that if they didn't break the windows, deadly gas would spread throughout the building. This too was of course a hoax, costing this particular Burger King over 10 grand in total damages. When speaking to local news outlet KFOR, a firefighter named Thomas Larman stated, quote, it is a little upsetting that they would try to—
I think the worst thing about it is like, it's the boy who cried wolf kind of thing. You know, the damage and hopefully the employee aren't fired, but like the problem is that from now on, like they're gonna be even less likely to believe if they get a call like this. And what happens if, you know, it's actually a rerun, they're just gonna doubt it and people might die because of that, because people play prank like this. That's kind of the problem, right?
Give the fire department a black eye. We would never do anything like that. We're here to serve the public, protect the public. However, these two stories paled in comparison to an incident that occurred at another Burger King located in Morro Bay, California. As in the previous stories, the same thing happened, and like clockwork, the workers began to break down the windows. The manager apparently then had the fantastic idea of driving his large truck through the building. While in previous instances, the breaking of windows was arguably justifiable considering the fact that they—
Why? You're gonna fuck up your— Like, do you think you're gonna be a hero for like doing this? Like, just, if you actually believe that there's gonna be gas, just leave and wait for the fire department or something. Like, as a fast food worker, do you really care that much to save the freaking fast food place? That you would break your own shit and risk, you know, things exploding in your face? I don't understand.
Actually believe there was a real gas threat, it's hard to imagine why anyone would think ramming a large vehicle into the restaurant would help in any way. According to the Daily Mail, this caused $35,000 in damages, with the manager in question being suspended. The sheer volume of incidents occurring resulted in authorities investigating the matter further, believing that it could be a coordinated attempt, but it's unclear if a culprit was ever found even after all of these years later.
Wait, so there's actually no one was found? Ah, that's a shame. Okay, so it wasn't actually a YouTube prankster, at least as far as we know it wasn't. It was real.
Busy, man. I can't do any full order at the window. I'm sorry. It has nothing to do with your disability. I have a disability too, okay?
Disabled people are one of the most vulnerable groups in America. often facing difficulties with tasks that would otherwise be easy to complete for an average healthy adult. Because of this, the government has passed several laws and regulations making it mandatory for businesses to assist disabled customers. Unfortunately, this can sometimes conflict with the inherent nature of fast food restaurants who want paying customers in and out as quickly as possible. With an example of this going down at a Burger King in 2019. This is the case of the tone-deaf Burger King. In August of that year, a deaf woman by the name of Rachel Hollis decided she would get fast food with her sons, figuring it would be a smooth experience, as she claimed she had done this numerous times before without issue. Instead of speaking into the intercom and placing her order, she pulled up to the drive-thru window.
Wait, so would that mean that like there would automatically be someone who can do sign language at any fast food? Really? Okay. That's interesting.
And handed the employee her cell phone where she had her full order written out in the iPhone notes.
Okay, well, that's even better. That's even better. Like, what's the complaint then?
This is where things turn sour for the family. For whatever reason, the employee in question refused to meet her request, handing the woman a handwritten note on a receipt, claiming they were too busy and unable to accommodate her disability. While they stayed.
What the fuck do you mean? She's probably like even more like efficient than anybody else. Like she's already written everything for you. She doesn't have to think what she wants. Okay. Like I could understand if the situation was like, you know, we're just too busy overall, we're not taking more customer right now. But he said just because she has a disability, despite the fact that she's giving exactly what she wants.
She needed to go inside and order, Hollis was rightfully indignant. It made absolutely no sense for her to do this, and considering the fact that her children were napping, she felt like they were being unreasonable and she wasn't going to move out of the line until they served her. Instead of simply accepting the fact that her order might take a little bit longer than normal, they decided to call the police on her, claiming over the phone that she was refusing to leave. Of course, all of this had been caught on film with the
I mean, another brain rot employee. I mean, like if she actually showed the phone with the list of what she wanted, like, why is he making a scene?
Footage subsequently being provided to a local news outlet who included it in their report on the issue.
You have to come inside. It is too busy. Too busy, man. I can't do any full order at the window. I'm sorry. It has nothing to do with your disability. I have a disability too, okay?
I just wanted my food. They should treat me like a hearing customer.
Hollis says police did show up, but didn't even get out of their cars to question her. She says she eventually got her kids fed and home, but that's when she broke down.
I was very upset. I was crying. I was very tired. I'm tired of discrimination. I
have a disability too, okay, yeah. The classic. Yeah. It's like the racist that says, I have black friends too, you know, the classic. The classic. I don't get it. Again, like, I guess the one thing I'm kind of like confused about is that she was filming right away. So if she's filming, is she showing her phone with the list of items then? Yeah. Like, did she ever actually show him the list of items, or did she try to talk to him in sign language? I don't know. But we see,
like that, for someone to call
the guy is in the wrong.
That's crazy. It just doesn't seem right.
While the man in the video claimed his request had nothing to do with their disability, many others begged to differ. Online commentators were outraged, with many pointing out the Burger King staff had made things infinitely worse by making a scene instead of just taking her order. As stated before, this was also in direct violation of the American Disabilities Act, which mandates that businesses have to provide their services for anyone regardless of whether or not they are disabled. Because of this, Rachel Hollis decided to enlist the services of an attorney named Cameron Spradling, who claimed they had violated the law by not taking Miss Hollis's order. Suffice to say, the Burger King employee was swiftly fired, with the whole ordeal kind of highlighting how stress-inducing jobs in the food industry can sometimes conflict with the person's basic human decency, with them feeling as if they gotta, you know, be fast with it. You're turning down blind, disabled people, goddammit. The news outlet Today reached out to the fast food giant for comment and received this email in response. Quote, all guests should be treated with respect. The employee was terminated and all employees at that location will undergo additional sensitivity training to ensure our customers always feel welcome.
I mean, once again, like every story so far, it's not like, we're gonna treat our employee better, we're gonna pay them better. It's like, our employees are in the wrong, we're gonna train them better. That's always the answer, right? Which they are in the wrong, but also...
Right between the cheeseburgers and a medium fries, packets of crack cocaine.
Okay.
The idea of an innocuous business serving as a drug front seems too insane to actually be true. Shout out to Los Pollos Hermanos. The concept being reserved for TV shows and movies and, basically an impossibility. However, it turns out that for a Brooklyn McDonald's, this fantasy was much closer than reality than one would think possible. 26-year-old Frank Guerrero seemed like your average employee. He worked as the night shift manager at the fast food chain for 8 years, something that certainly took a lot of hard work and dedication.
That is a long time.
Unfortunately, it seemed that the pay left something to be desired, as Frank began to expand into more shady business ventures on the side. Behind the scenes, he was running an illegal narcotic ring using his position at the store as a means to deliver drugs to customers. An article from New York Daily News reports that he went about it like this. The particular McDonald's restaurant was open 24 hours, meaning at a certain point only the drive-thru window was open. Despite this, he would allow his drug customers to enter through the front door and conduct their business, stashing the drugs themselves in soap dispensers. He would often gift the customers their special product in McDonald's meal bags.
Right.
Something that sounds so absolutely ridiculous on the surface, to be honest. It's like, this is like an actual Happy Meal, you know what I'm saying? Apparently this system worked well, at least for a time. Guerrero would eventually be busted by authorities for slanging out of the Golden Arches. According to the Office of the Special Narcotics Prosecutor for the City of New York, officers conducted numerous exchanges with Guerrero before making the arrest. Over the course of 8 separate dealings, he sold them almost $11,000 worth of cocaine. He was so brazen with it that undercover officers were able to score 100 grams of the illegal substance in a single exchange. Talk about a fucking meal deal. This was a massive operation drawing a significant amount of money, but as with all things of this nature, it didn't last. After investigating Frank's home, they managed to find over 200 grams of cocaine in addition to a significant amount of cash.
200 grams?
The case was so ridiculous that even those involved in the investigation made a joke out of it. When speaking to the press, they revealed that the code name for the entire operation was, quote, off the menu. When speaking to the New York Post, narcotics prosecutor Bridget G. Brennan said, quote, the conduct was so blatant that it would be comical if he weren't committing a serious narcotics crime. Ordering Coke took an entirely different meaning on the night shift at this McDonald's. Due to the significant amount of drugs discovered at his home, Frank's wife was also arrested on suspicion of collusion. While it may seem like an operation like this was impossible to slip through the cracks without the owners knowing, it seems like this was exactly the case. The owner of the restaurant released a statement condemning the crime, claiming he was in full cooperation with authorities on the matter.
I mean, I'd believe it, there's so many McDonald's, and I'm sure they have security cameras and stuff like that, but I'm sure it's, for the most part, like, rarely checked or something. And the guy was the little manager of the place, so he could probably, like, tamper anything like that. So whoever is, like, higher up in the chain would not know about it. That makes sense. That's why, in paper, like, this seems like a pretty good plan. You're the manager, you kind of control the location, you know the best time for everything, you know how to control the camera, and then you can just tell the customer, like, for your drug to come at specific time to the drive-thru, and just kind of smoothly, like, give it to them in McDonald's bag. It doesn't seem that sus. Like, on paper, this seems pretty good. Yeah. You could make a movie out of this.
Reporters, of course, had a field day with the story as well, making numerous puns at the expense of the criminal fast food worker.
Involved in this sting operation, we're saying I'm loving it when they got that side of Coke along with their burger and fries offer at this Soundview McDonald's. They say cocaine and crack cocaine were on the menu with...
I mean, the difference is, like, in Breaking Bad, they never actually, like, do anything like this, right? Like, it's more of a front, El Polos, right? Like, the actual fast food location themselves, they're like a front. They have no drug over there.
The night manager doing the dishing up, but it's the kind of coke that gets you time behind bars. The night manager had a busy side hustle selling to undercover cops. 26-year-old Frank Guerrero had been the night manager here for 8 years, but cops caught on to his drug trade and crack and cocaine during several undercover buys, eventually racking up more than 10 grand worth of illegal drugs that they say the manager would sell to them by tucking it inside a cookie bag.
Wow.
I don't know what this is. This is fish on the floor. We don't know if it was going to be cooked or used for sushi, but we do know it doesn't belong on a filthy, wet, greasy kitchen floor.
Chinese buffets are a staple of any American city. With fast service, cheap prices, and plenty of food, these establishments often draw in crowds of hungry working-class individuals trying to get their money's worth in a struggling economy. Unfortunately, many of them have reputations for being dingy and unclean, being characterized as extremely sketchy. While most of the time, food inspectors do their job and prevent businesses with shady practices from harming anyone, sometimes things do slip through the cracks, which is what happened in 2016 at a restaurant located in Miami, Florida. In January, a restaurant with a nondescript name China Buffet was investigated by the Florida Department of Business and Professional Regulation and was found to have had a whopping 110 health code violations, with the business receiving yet another 74 violations in early February. If this wasn't enough, later that same month, they received yet even more violations, this time racking up to 86. It goes without saying that most of these were the result of the restaurant refusing to fix the same issues time and time again, with the place gaining notoriety in the local community. This was enough to pique the interest of local news station WPLG, who decided to launch an in-depth investigation of their own into the establishment. It's important to note that the vast majority of the information about this whole ordeal comes from them, as mainstream publications stayed away from covering what was primarily a local affair. WPLG reporters decided to take a closer look at what happened behind closed doors, filming everything notable they stumbled across. They found what seemed to be a scene out of kitchen.
So the people running the place were just like, yeah, we have nothing to hide, just come in. And then they come in and it's fucking like, you know, like the most dirty fast food restaurant anyone has ever seen. Okay. Some people aren't scared, but I was thinking maybe it's like different culture kind of thing, right? So, like if it's you know, like immigrant coming to open a restaurant in the US, like the different type of like acceptable level of dirtiness between countries is probably different maybe. So like they probably just don't, like, even when they're told, you know, this is bad, they probably don't care, I guess. They're like, whatever, people will still commit. I don't know.
Nightmares, food that wasn't properly being stored, disgustingly dirty cleaning equipment, and a rancid bathroom that, according to them, emitted horrible smells. At the beginning of the report, you can see them examining what appears to be a raw slab of salmon that was just left sitting on the disgusting floor. Now, keep in mind, all of this was filmed after the restaurant had been previously shut down numerous times for health code violations. And had been bafflingly allowed to reopen without issue. The news crews later decided to confront the owner, who was extremely hostile when questioned, leading to this exchange.
The owner doesn't want
to... It's really like, you know, I've worked not in any kind of fast food place or anything, but I worked in processing facility for lavender, you know, like the smell good lavender thing. And it was this massive like warehouse, and it was only like 2 of us. And yeah, it was like, you know, insanely dusty. Like literally when we would run the machine, it was this giant machine that you know, like you fill up with a ton of bags of lavender. It's supposed to like process it. And the amount of dust that it would produce in like not even 2 hours, like after a 2-hour session of like processing it, the floor was literally covered in like this much of dust. And every time I had to wipe, and I could feel like a bucket full of dust every single time. Like it was an insanely unearthly kind of way to do things. But then one day there was supposed to be like an health code or whatever, like a checker guy coming. I remember like the boss of the place, you know, I was kind of like an interim kind of guy, you know, just there for a little bit to replace someone. And he kept saying like, you know, make sure to do this. Like we don't want clean to the max, etc. We don't want like the guy to think there's any problem. So it was literally like the thing where like, you know, usually like you're one in advance, and I think it's the same for restaurants. They're one in advance when the the health inspection guy is coming, so they literally like have the time to like clean everything and try to look appropriate for when they come. And yet this guy doesn't even do it. Like this restaurant doesn't even do it. Like usually I think they tell you when they're coming, so you have time to like clean stuff, you know. It's kind of like when your room is a mess, but you have you have your girlfriend or a friend coming, and so you like clean it, and it's very unnatural. That's not it usually is, but you know, you just want to like have a good impression. But I guess those guys don't even care. Like that's amazing. Yeah, like they have a new screw they could have cleaned before the new screw come. I'm sure they were like asked in advance, you know, can we come, and they didn't clean.
Talk about no cameras. No
Oh,
cameras. What?
Now no cameras.
First of all, don't touch. First of all, don't touch the camera.
Don't touch the camera.
Talk to my attorney.
Don't touch my camera. Don't touch my camera.
110 violations. It's the worst inspection we've seen in a long time. 110. We show those entering to eat what was recently found inside.
Let's see how many still go inside.
I'm gonna find somewhere else to go.
You're gonna eat somewhere else.
Yeah.
I just bought from there and I returned it.
After the report had been posted to YouTube, it went viral, accumulating over 12 million views and shocking online observers. Many were disgusted and appalled that such a restaurant was even allowed to operate. Travis Keels, a spokesperson for the Florida Department of Business and Professional Regulation, was asked this very same question by WPLG. The regulator responded, quote, once an emergency closure or suspension of license has been cleared to vacate by the director of the Division of Hotels and Restaurants, an establishment has to come into compliance with any violations deemed an immediate threat to public health and safety and is permitted to open and operate. The news outlet would continue their coverage of the restaurant's
and yet it had multiple times it was shut down, but it's still open again.
Antics in an attempt to shed light on something that could potentially lead to innocent people getting sick. They returned to the restaurant soon after their initial report, where they were confronted by an employee.
But today we were back again.
No,
I need to talk to Kevin.
Okay, no here. Okay.
Can you call him?
Okay, no here. Sorry.
I want to talk to you. Why? Don't touch my camera. Why do you keep? Don't touch my camera. Why is the place not getting better?
China Buffet was quietly bought out soon after, and
it still has like 1.7 stars. I mean, that's still kind of good.
Renamed Royal Buffet in 2017, perhaps in an attempt to distance themselves from its unsavory past. Unfortunately, these new owners did not seem to be any better. Later reports indicate that they too would be shut down after a live rat and hundreds of pellets of rodent feces had been found during a restaurant inspection.
I remember like a story like that about a McDonald's.
If you look up the restaurant's address on Google, you'll be met with a warning stating the establishment is permanently closed.
Wait, 4.1 stars. 4.1 stars, I mean, did they use bots or is it real people?
Hopefully never causing the public any more issues
Deep fried
in the
rats.
future.
Oh, a fight. Let's do a fight. As you were saying earlier, like fights are the funnest thing. Let's go. Okay, she slipped.
Waffle House is a
How long until someone shoots World Star?
beloved breakfast chain that's an undeniable Southern staple, with hundreds of locations across the country. And yes, if we considered the Chinese buffet a fast food place, we're considering Waffle House a fast food place, goddammit. Just for the sake of this video, okay? Despite their attempts to maintain a family-friendly, wholesome image, in recent years they've been characterized as cheap and somewhat ratchet, with memes regarding their employees getting into fights spreading across the internet. However, there is one particular incident of this nature that stands out, with it being legendary to this day. This is the story of Waffle House Wendy. In September of 2021, a violent fight broke out between customers and Waffle House staff at a restaurant located in Austin, Texas, after some sort of disagreement. The incident was caught on camera, with bystanders cheering on the violence. At one point, chairs were being thrown, with one seemingly on a collision course for an employee named Haley Booth. However, instead of being struck down and severely injured like one might expect,
she fights back.
She masterfully deflects the chair mid-air, seemingly preventing herself from being injured, and looks ready to throw fists right afterwards, like she's ready to fight.
I mean, they're throwing like, you know, these shitty plastic chairs though, so they survive. Like, she fucking slipped and fell, that's the best part. Like, took yourself out. Okay. That's entertainment, I mean, fucking like, Waffle House Battle Royale. It's still fucked up that it goes to this, but I can't lie, I'm entertained.
Oh my god, bro! Oh my god, bro! You wildin'! Yo, chill! You about to go to jail, chill!
Okay, actually that chair I think is wood. I thought it was like one of those shitty like plastic chairs. No, I think it's wood. That would help.
Eventually, the violence came to an end, with the footage being uploaded online soon after. Something about these Waffle House workers, man. If you mess with them, they'll kick your ass. I mean, when you attack a Waffle House...
I wish it was a rule, you know, I know in like some place in the US, there's stuff like, you know, mutual combat or something. Like, there's a rule that like, if both party agrees to the fight, you can fight without getting arrested until someone wins. I forget what it is. There's stuff like that, so I wish it was a thing for like, you know, fast food worker, like, you can fight back if you get attacked and you'll be okay. Like, you won't be arrested, you won't be fired. I wish that was a rule.
It's like attacking a guard in a neutral city in an RPG game. While in many cases, clips like these have immediate viral success, it actually wouldn't gain traction until about a year later in late 2022 when it finally exploded in popularity. Because, you know, she's like fucking ultra instincting that chair, like, she saw that shit before it even happened. Perfect deflection. Onlookers were impressed that she had seemingly been unfazed, barely even reacting to having a chair thrown at her, with memes spreading rapidly depicting her as a hero of sorts, with some giving her the nickname Waffle House Wendy, the final boss of all Waffle House
She's not using more than 1% of her power.
Culminated in Haley herself creating a video where she cleared up many misconceptions and gave a more detailed account of her side of the story. Apparently, she had been written up by her boss after he saw her throw a sugar shaker in the security footage that showed the infamous fight. So she left voluntarily and tried to get work at another location. When she tried to apply at a new Waffle House, she was told that she had been blacklisted from working there.
I see.
Our boss comes in, he looks at the security footage, and he looks at me, and he looks back at the security footage, and he's like, okay, well, I'm gonna give you a write-up because you threw the sugar shaker and it broke.
Not the sugar.
When I left, they had told me, you're always welcome at this store, Haley, you know, whatever, you're good.
Classic.
Oh God, I was blacklisted. So it was kind of like, I can't ever work for Waffle House again. I tried working for another one, like sometime earlier this year, and I had found out that I was blacklisted.
Many were outraged that she was being...
But now the story is blowing up, which is probably like give her the chance to get a bunch of like other info like offers for other place or something. Otherwise, yeah, that's kind of fucked up.
Punished for simply defending
we don't know
herself,
who started it,
with Tucker Carlson even managing to snag an interview with her.
How did you remain so calm?
I really don't know. It kind of just all happened so fast. It was mainly just a pure rush of adrenaline and instinct that just kind of had me going.
Ultra instinct.
Had anyone ever thrown a chair at you before?
I mean, kids get rowdy in middle school, but
She
not
wasn't
like
arrested.
directly at me.
I don't think I've seen an employee calmer under pressure than you. I assume you got some sort of award and special bonus from Waffle House corporate. How big was your bonus?
I actually didn't get any bonus of it. The only thing that I did get from the fight was a write-up for breaking the sugar shaker. So, and you know, telling them telling me, you know, hey,
this guy acting like he's surprised, like, come on.
The sugar shaker, but you did a good job.
Come on, dude. You know that obviously she wasn't gonna get a reward for this. I mean, come on.
You know, protecting the store, making sure that you were all right.
Wait, you were written up for breaking a sugar shaker when someone threw a chair at you?
Yes, sir.
After the dust had settled and people had an idea of what actually happened, Haley was approached by Rolling Stone for a phone interview where she gave them even more details about her life after the incident. According to her, she was extremely grateful for all the support and had even envisioned creating merchandise to capitalize on her viral success even further. Since then, it seems she's maintained a more low-key internet presence ever since the fanfare
As a kid, she would watch Mike Tyson and Muhammad Ali and shadowbox them. Okay. All right.
Surrounding her fizzled out.
Fair
While
enough.
she did enjoy her 15 minutes of fame, it seems as though any attempt at leveraging her fame into any sort of meaningful online career has fallen flat on its face. But in the grand
She
scheme
was on
of
the
things, this is
Octagon.
most likely for the best. And well, you've made it to the end.
Okay.
Let me know what you guys thought about Fast Food Disasters 3 down below in the comment section, and
Well,
let me
very
know
fun.
who or what you want me to talk about next. I want to give a major shout out to my
I mean, yeah, again, like, all of those were, you know, bad, but the Period Blood one is the one that just, like, annihilated me. It's just too disgusting. I mean, yeah, I don't know. That one is still making me want to puke just thinking about it. Okay, good video. Yeah, again, I've watched this channel before, like, years ago. Literally years ago. I want to say, like, freaking, like, 4 or 5 years. I don't even know. I think it was, like, some 4chan video. And yeah, that's a nice stop. But also very disgusting. Yeah, very disgusting. Okay. Breaking Bad, yeah. That's pretty good. Huh? Here's the link. Alright. I'm disgusted. But again, yeah, like, the more the story is, like, you know, be it a restaurant or a fast food place, you know, you are really putting a lot of trust in someone to not mess with your food. And we all do it every single day, right? Like, well, I don't think we go to the restaurant or fast food every single day. But yeah, like, it's a lot of, you know, trusting gacha luck, right? That you're gonna get proper food well done and not disgusting. That's, it's a lot of belief, you know. Big belief. Yes. That's all I can say.